Good evening. My name is Isabel, and tonight we're going to go over this week's news. I want to start with the drama surrounding Pam Geller and the non-invite to CPAC, the DIS. We know that Chris Christie was not invited, but she was not invited, and there's an added twist to this story. The Jihad Watch, Robert Spencer, was given an award, and I found out this week that that award is now not going to be given to them. That is just more irony coming from the CPAC administrators and the board, who have been kind of in damage control mode about that award being given but not being presented to the recipient because the recipient was barred from CPAC. There are a lot of names involved in this, and it starts with ACU, which is the American Conservative Union. And that union was originally intended to keep wobbly Republicans in check and honest. The ACU has two board members called Suhail Khan and Grover Norquist. Norquist, you may or may not know, is linked to Hamas and organizations dedicated to destroying America from within. The story got scarier as I read it because these two are linked to two other terrorists. They're key facilitators to the Bush White House. The conservative movement appears to be at a crossroads in its approach to the threat of Islamic supremacism, and not only abroad, but at home. Does the emergence of the Muslim Brotherhood as the dominant force of the Arab Spring bode ill for America, or is the Brotherhood merely another political actor, as the Obama administration would have us believe? Is Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton's deputy chief of staff, a potential security risk worth investigating, as Representative Michelle Bachmann and 4 conservative congressmen have suggested when she raised the questions? A few months ago, these questions reached another flashpoint. The incident took place at an irregular board meeting of the American Conservative Union. The rump group in attendance, several key board members, told Front Page they were not even aware the meeting had been called, voted unanimously to dismiss long-standing accusations against 2 ACU board members. The accusations had been made by Center for Security Policy head Frank Gaffney. Their focus was on the activities of Grover Norquist and Suhail Khan, 2 prominent ACU board members, whom Gaffney claims are influential agents of Islamist agendas. The ACU's dismissal of Gaffney's claims was contained in a memo written by attorney Cleta Mitchell, who called them reprehensible. Frank Gaffney is a former defense official in the Reagan administration, and he first made these claims public in 2003 in an article called A Troubling Influence. Front Page editor David Horowitz acknowledged that Norquist had played an important role in the conservative movement, but also described Gaffney's claims as the most disturbing that we at Front Page have ever published. He further characterized them as the most complete documentation extant of Grover Norquist activities in behalf of the Islamist Fifth Column. Norquist sponsored Suhail to become a member of the board of American Conservative Union in 2010. With Grover's help, the Muslim Brotherhood was infiltrating the very heart of the conservative movement. By this time, however, Gaffney's access to ACU's audiences was restricted. Because of his charges against Norquist, Gaffney had long since been barred from speaking at the annual CPAC gathering. Frank Gaffney has been the courageous bringer of bad news about Grover Norquist and Suhail Khan to the board of the American Conservative Union. Many good conservatives on the board have refused to believe the evidence of Suhail Khan's Brotherhood allegiances and agendas. But Horowitz, who was not a Washington insider like Gaffney, was a different story. He was invited to keynote 2011 CPAC conference. Horowitz used the occasion to address the issues raised by Norquist's activities and Khan's presence at the ACU board. In an interview with Pam Geller of Atlas Shrugg's and Front Page's Jamie Glassoff, Geller states, "I think CPAC's agenda in 2010 as well as 2009 and before that reflects the influence of Grover Norquist, the conservative powerhouse and kingmaker. He is a board member of the ACU, and from the looks of CPAC's covered topics and omission of discussion of jihad, it looks as if he exerts enormous influence over David Keene, the ACU's nominal leader. Norquist and his ally Suhail Khan seem to be in charge at CPAC. No CPAC event goes on that doesn't reflect their perspective." The conclusion is that CPAC and the ACU are bought and sold for money and influence. Worse still, they are still under the heavy influence of people that want to destroy this nation. Pam Geller isn't the problem. Time to oust Khan and Norquist. Otherwise, I think I agree with John Ziegler. I want no part of CPAC or the ACU. And I feel that anyone who is known to have any links to Islamist supremacists should get out of this country, and everyone who is conservative or so-called conservative should be aware that there is infiltration within the Conservative Party, which answers a lot of questions. And now it brings me to the second big scoop of the week, which is the only subject that everyone seems to be talking about. I'm going to speak about this week's spectacle that was this filibuster. I have crossed a lot of people this week, and I have been called every name in the book. Idiot, crazy conservative, you name it. I have been called these names because I am simply wanting for people to look at what is going on with a level head, a little distance, and some scrutiny and some questioning. We have lost 2 elections in a row. And we have been losing for longer than that, because even when Bush was in the White House, conservatism was not being represented. I said in the last clip, and I will say it again, that term is meaningless, because right now we have people who are not completely conservative hiding behind the name conservative. We have different factions within the Republican Party that are starting to rear their ugly heads. There is a leadership crisis in the GOP. What I saw made the hair on my back stand. I saw people overreacting to something that senators and our representatives were elected to do. I also saw some questionable motives behind what was done. You will see from all the tweets that I took the trouble to copy, download, and put in a clip together why we have senators and representatives who think they can get away with things. Now, this is my point of view, okay? I've done some homework and I have found out a lot of things about Rand Paul that I don't like. He is good at getting people to get excited about things. But why is that? Is he doing it for selfless reasons like I heard so much this week? No. My opinion is that he used this opportunity possibly to promote himself because it was an easy and free way to do so, and because maybe we have another narcissist on our hands. I don't know. I'm more comfortable at this point asking questions than jumping into conclusions like so many people. These people who have been accusing me this week of not, being on board and not celebrating, with everybody, or, going along with, the mood. Why should anybody be celebrating when there was no positive result in the end? So he got his 15 minutes of fame, or 13 hours. Good for him. Let's watch him and let's see if certain things pan out. Let's see how effective he is. People jump into situations. You know what it felt like?